I've brought a new FF for you all today. This one is going to be a little interesting and different, but I'm sure you'll really enjoy it. If you like the story, please don't forget to comment and show some appreciation. Also, like and share it. For those who are new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. So, let's begin the story. Just like there are college reunions, today there was also one. After graduation, he lived with his stepmother and father. He was an Omega, but a unique one because he had the ability to marry either a girl or a boy. Still, no one truly accepted him. At the reunion, he also came, along with his brother Young Jung. The two brothers didn't really get along, especially because Young Jung didn't like him at all due to their stepmother. Though he wasn't extremely harsh, he still disliked him. At the reunion, another person was present, someone who hated Wing with his whole heart. The reason was that Wing, being an Omega, was unusually elegant, gorgeous, and good-looking. In college, both boys and girls were crazy for his cuteness. That was something the other Omega couldn't stand. He always thought, how can a stepchild, an adopted one, live such a luxurious life? No one outside really knew what actually went on in Wing's home or how his stepmother treated him. From the outside, everything looked fine. This jealous Omega, whose very name meant burning with envy, couldn't tolerate Wing at all. Now, at the reunion, of course drinks were flowing everywhere. Wing also drank quite a lot. Normally, his tolerance was strong, but that night he had too much and dizziness started to hit him. He wasn't even aware of where he was going. Jeol, who wanted revenge on him, had booked a room in the same hotel where the reunion was held. The event was at a Lawn Corporation-owned luxury hotel. Jeol had planned everything. He wanted to completely ruin Wing's life. He pretended that Wing wasn't feeling well and told others, "I'll take him to a room and let him rest." Since there were always a few extra rooms booked for anyone needing to stay over, no one suspected anything. Jeol dragged him into one of the rooms and threw him onto the bed, not even checking properly which room it was. After that, he called some shady men he knew, telling them, "I've arranged some entertainment for you tonight. Come and take him." He gave Wing a disgusting, devilish smile before locking the door and leaving, planning to return later, take pictures, and spread them on social media to destroy Wing's reputation. But Jeol didn't realize his mistake. The room he chose actually belonged to Lan Wangji, the second heir of the Lan Corporation. Outwardly, Lan Wangji was known as a beloved son at home, a powerful businessman in public, and secretly, in the underworld, he was feared as Hang Wanjun, a mafia boss. He lived with 3 different faces, and no one, not even his family, knew that all 3 identities were the same man. Whenever he appeared in his mafia persona, he wore a mask that covered half of his face. Because of that, no one had ever discovered who he really was. That night, Lan Wangji had just returned from dealing with someone who caused trouble in his business. After finishing his work, he came back to his room, smoking a large cigar, removing his clothes, and heading for a shower. It was at that exact moment that Jeol dumped the drunken Wing into his room and left. Wing, overheated and dizzy from drinking too much, started feeling strange. He stood up, loosened his shirt, threw it on the bed, and stumbled toward the washroom. The luxurious suite had a huge bathroom with 2 separate sections for showers. On the other side, Wangji was already showering. Not knowing this, Wing removed his pants and placed them right beside the clothes that Wangji had already taken off. And from there, their fates were about to cross. Wing threw off his pants and stood only in his undergarments. His skin was flushed, scratches appearing here and there, redness spreading because of the heavy drinking. Heat was rushing through his body, making him feel restless. Still half naked, he walked straight into the shower room, without even noticing that someone was already bathing inside. He didn't care. When his blurred eyes focused, he saw a man already under the shower. Water was cascading down the stranger's back as he stood facing the wall, completely bare, his entire body revealed under the falling water. Something inside Wing stirred. The alcohol had already made his senses hazy, but now, seeing that body, another kind of feeling began to awaken in him. He stepped closer, slowly, his hand trembling as it reached out. Gently, he let his palm trail across the man's back, following the streams of water running over the strong muscles. Startled by the unexpected touch, Wang Ji immediately spun around, shocked to find someone else inside his private space. Wang Ji quickly caught hold of the stranger's hands and twisted them behind him. But when his eyes fell on the face in front of him, he froze. Standing there was not just anyone, it was a cute Omega. "Who are you?" Wang Ji demanded. Wing, completely drunk, couldn't form words. His lips trembled, his body swayed, and instead of answering, he struggled against Wang Ji's grip. In his drunken haze, he leaned closer, trying to climb onto Wang Ji, pressing his foot against him and refusing to let go. Water poured over them both, soaking their bodies. Wing's warmth and the desperation in his touch made him bold. He suddenly cupped Wang Ji's face and kissed him. At first Wang Ji was shocked. Who is this stranger kissing me? But as the moment lingered, he didn't resist. He was a man used to battles, violence, and shadows, and yet, right now, this delicate Omega clinging to him felt like an unexpected temptation. So instead of pushing him away, Wang Ji let the kiss deepen. For the first time in a long while, he felt his body relax, his heart racing with something other than rage. The night passed, carrying them both into an intimacy neither of them had planned. At around 3 in the morning, Wing stirred awake. His head was pounding from the drinks. When he opened his eyes, he saw himself lying beside a stranger, a man whose face was turned away, fast asleep. Startled, Wing quietly slipped out from under the blanket. He grabbed the shirt he had thrown earlier and hurriedly put it on. By mistake, instead of his own pants, he picked up Wang Ji's and wore them before sneaking out of the room. A little while later, Wang Ji also woke up. He looked around but realized his own clothes were missing. Frowning, he went to the washroom and found another pair of pants lying there, Wing's. Inside the pocket was a round ring, delicate and simple, a precious reminder of Wing's late mother. Meanwhile, Jiol, who had been waiting, saw Wang Ji leaving the room. His eyes widened in shock. Oh my god, that's Lawn Corporation's second heir. And did Wing just spend the night with him? For Jiol, this was an opportunity, a dangerous one that could change everything. After leaving, Jiol sneaked into Wang Ji's bedroom and laid down on his bed. Earlier, when Wang Ji had gone out, he had already ordered his subordinates to find out who had spent the night with him. When the subordinates entered the room to search, they found Jiol instead of Wing. Pretending to stretch lazily as if he had just woken up, Jiol acted as though he had been caught at the right moment. The men looked at him closely and asked, "Are you the Omega who was with our master last night?" Jiol lied without hesitation. "Yes, it was me. Your master left me here, but who will take responsibility for me now? He spent the night with me and then abandoned me." His drama was so convincing that the subordinates believed him. They brought him straight before Wang Ji's father and explained, "Sir, second master spent the night with this Omega. He says he must be taken care of." Wang Ji's father studied Jiol for a moment and said calmly, "If Wang Ji truly did this, then whom he marries is his decision. But yes, we will take responsibility for you. Whatever you need will be provided." He handed Jiol a card, a car, and permission to enter the Lawn Mansion freely. Jiol's eyes shone with greed overnight. He had gained a luxurious life. Now he could come and go from the Lawn Corporation and boast everywhere that he was the one who would marry the second heir. Of course, this was only his fantasy. 2 years passed after that night. Wing had completely disappeared from Wang Ji's life. He never told anyone about what happened, not even his closest friend, because Ah Chung already hated him. The only one who had understood Wing in that household, his sister Siji, had married a wealthy man and settled in America. Now they only spoke over the phone. At home, only Ah Chung and Wing remained. Soon, Ah Chung's marriage was arranged with the eldest son of the U Group. But just before the wedding, shocking news appeared on TV: U Group had gone bankrupt. Everything was seized, and they were left with nothing. However, since U Group had already agreed to the marriage, they had transferred 10 million into Ah Chung's account as dowry. Ah Chung, of course, already had a secret boyfriend. And here, I want to make it clear Ching's story won't be tied with Wang Ji. His path is different, and his fate will unfold in another way. Quan was an alpha, but he was already married to a woman. This twist will come out later, and you will understand why I paired Achi with Ni Manji. Achi already had a boyfriend with whom he was dating. Ni, on the other hand, was in a good position in the Ni business group and was also handling their media company. Achi was dating him. When Achi heard that the U group had gone bankrupt, he went to his mother and said, "Mom, I don't want to marry him. I already have a boyfriend, please do something." His mother replied, "But he already transferred 10 million into your account. We cannot refuse this now. And the wedding is tomorrow." Achi begged, "Mom, please let Wing marry in my place. He also belongs to this family. No one will ever find out." Madame Yi liked this idea. She thought about it and said, "All right, I will consider this." Afterwards, she went to her husband, who was in a vegetative state. His body no longer worked, only his hearing was left. Madame Yi used to sign papers and handle everything in his name. She told him, "Tomorrow your daughter's marriage will take place with the U group." Hearing this, tears rolled down his eyes because his loyal personal assistant always informed him of the truth. He started crying silently, but Madame Yu remained cold as stone. At that time, Wing was working in the Jiang Group's company as just an employee, not as an owner. Madame Yu and Jiang Qin were the ones really managing everything. When Wing came home, Madame Yu taunted him. "Tomorrow, you are getting married." Wing was shocked. "But why should I marry?" Madame Yu said coldly. "Because I want you to marry the son of the U group." Wing protested. "But they went bankrupt. They have nothing left. Why would you marry me off to them?" Madame Yu said coldly. "Because I want you to marry the son of the U group." Wing protested. "But they went bankrupt. They have nothing left. Why would you marry me off to them?" Madame Yu replied, "Because Achi was supposed to marry him, but he already has a lover. And as far as I know, you have already lost your honor. If people find out that you once spent a night with a stranger, who will ever marry you? This way, at least you will still have a name." Tears filled Wing's eyes. He said softly, "I don't want to do this." But Madame Yu didn't stop. She reminded him harshly, "When you were a child, who raised you? Who gave you food and shelter? Who let you stay in this house? Now it's time for you to repay that debt." Madame Yu continued to emotionally pressure Wing. "Your father took you away from your grandparents' house and gave you his name. Don't you think it's your duty to do at least this much for him?" With no other choice, Wing finally agreed, even though he didn't want to. On the wedding day, the tradition was that the Omega had to move into the Alpha's house. All the things prepared for Wing were sent to the U family's place. But since everything the U group owned had already been seized, what was left for them was just a small, old house made of wood, a historical-looking place. Wing, still in his wedding attire, arrived there. He hadn't even seen his husband yet. People placed the gifts and left, leaving him alone in the quiet house. As Wing was looking around, suddenly, someone came from behind and hugged him tightly, whispering, "Don't move." Wing's heart started racing, and he froze like a statue. Then the man said, "Please don't move. Some thugs are after me for money. You already know I don't have any. They've come to collect. I'll pretend we're doing something together so they'll leave. Don't scream, all right?" Wing nervously nodded. The man then gently turned Wing around. The moment Wing saw his face, he was stunned. The man was unbelievably gorgeous, handsome, and sharp. Words weren't enough to describe him. Yet, he wore only a simple shirt and pants. Wing stammered, What? Are you really my husband? You're the heir of the Chu group." The man replied calmly, "Yes. My name is Chulan." Wing muttered, "What kind of name is that?" Chulan just gave a small smile, then carefully guided Wing to the bed. "Stay like this. I'll only pretend I'm doing something with you. I won't actually touch you. Don't worry." Wing's heartbeat was still racing, but he lay stiffly on the bed. Chulan leaned over him, their bodies pressing together. Wing tilted his head away nervously, while Chulan rested his face close to Wing's neck. When the thugs entered, searching for him, they stopped at the sight. To them, it looked like the two were making out. Feeling awkward and embarrassed to interrupt, they quickly left the room. The thugs looked embarrassed. "Oh, we entered the wrong house. Let's get out of here," they muttered and quickly ran off. Once they were gone, Lon Jon slowly lifted his face and looked down at Wing. Wing, still trembling and small like a frightened little mouse, stared back. Lon Jon chuckled softly. "My little mouse." Wing blinked in confusion. "Mouse?" Lon Jon smiled again. "No, I mean my husband." Wing tilted his head nervously. You really are my husband?" Lon Jon nodded and pulled out a marriage certificate with the name Chu Lon Jon written on it. When Wing read it, he finally relaxed. "Yes, I believe you now." Then Wing softly asked, "Today was our wedding day, so why didn't you come?" Lon Jon sighed and replied, "I had some urgent work to handle, that's why I couldn't make it." "Forgive me, my husband. Are you disappointed that I have no money anymore, that I can't give you a luxurious life?" Wing quickly shook his head. No, I'm not disappointed at all. In fact, I feel happy. This small house, just for the two of us, we can live here together with joy. I don't need luxury. What I want is a partner who truly—" He stopped midway, blushing. Lon Jon completed his words gently. "A partner who truly loves you? Then let me be that for you." Wing slowly raised his head and met his husband's eyes. They were sitting side by side when Lon Jon carefully laid Wing down on the bed and kissed him. Wing broke the kiss for a moment, whispering shyly, Is this okay?" Lon Jon smiled against his lips. "It's our wedding night, isn't it? Tell me, what else is supposed to happen on such a night?" Wing had no answer. He only blushed deeper and looked away. And so, their wedding night truly began. One by one, Lon Jon gently removed the layers of Wing's elaborate wedding attire. Since their marriage had been a traditional, classical ceremony, Wing's outfit was made of several ornate layers, and Lon Jon undressed him with care, removing each piece slowly, like unwrapping something precious. That night, he kept touching him more gently, with affection, making the moment even more intimate. Their wedding night turned out to be truly memorable. By morning, the two of them were still sleeping while cuddling in each other's arms. As an Omega and also as a husband, or you could say a wife, it was Wing's responsibility to take care of his partner. He woke up early, cleaned the entire house, took a bath, and then prepared food for breakfast. He set everything neatly on the dining table. Lon Jon woke up and came outside. Seeing the table filled with food, he walked up to Wing, hugged him from behind, and asked warmly, "Did you do all this?" Wing nodded with a sweet smile and replied, "Yes, I did. It's my duty to take care of these things." But Lon Jon shook his head slightly. "It's not only your responsibility. I'll help you too. I'm your husband, not someone who just depends on you. I might not earn a huge salary, but I work in a corporate company and I can at least provide you some happiness." Wing looked at him softly and said, "That isn't necessary. I work too, and together our income is enough to run this house. All I want is to be happy with you." Saying this, Wing leaned forward and kissed Lon Jon on the forehead. After that, they enjoyed breakfast together. Later, Wing left for his own work, while Lan Wangji went out for his duties at Lanrinshan. Lan Wangji had actually changed his identity. Because of his past dealings and his skills, he had made many enemies in business, people who wanted to harm or even kill him. To protect himself, he often shifted identities and stayed hidden. At present, he was acting as a banker for the Chu Group. The deal was that he would help them, and in return, he could live under a new identity. That was how he ended up living in Wing's home, and that was how their marriage happened. But when he sat down in his office that day, a thought troubled him. Was it right for me to spend last night with Wing as his husband, knowing this isn't my real identity? He didn't marry me for who I am, he married the successor of the Chu Group. If one day he finds out the truth, will he think I betrayed him? These thoughts weighed on his heart. Still, another voice in his mind said, "No matter what, you are his husband now. And if someday the truth comes out, you can divorce under this false identity and then marry him again as yourself." That thought calmed him a little. Taking a deep breath, he put aside his worries and focused on his work. Meanwhile, Wing too was busy with his day. The husband was not completely unemployed. He also worked, and I worked in a corporate company. Yes, even though my salary was not very high, I could still provide him with at least a little happiness. Turning to him, Wing replied, "There's no need for that. I also work, right? With both of our earnings, we can manage our household. I'm simply happy being with you." Saying this, Wing kissed Lan Zhan gently on the forehead. After that, both of them enjoyed breakfast together. Later, Ring left for his work, while Lan Wangji went out to manage his own business. He had changed his identity because, through his actions in business, he had gained many enemies. With success came trouble. He had made several powerful rivals. As a result, he would often receive threats to his life, and many people were constantly planning to harm him. Because of this, he had to keep his identity slightly hidden for safety. Because of the threats, he would often hide here and there. At that time, the rat group banker had gone bankrupt, and Lan Zhan, Na Wangji, had said he would help him. In return, he would take his identity and live in his house. Since he started living there, it meant that he was also married to him. When he came back from the office and sat down, he began thinking, was it right for him to have spent that night with his husband? After all, the identity he was using was not his own. And that person had not actually married him, but instead had married the heir of the rat group. Asterisk, the day he finds out the truth, will he misunderstand me? Will he think I betrayed him? Asterisk. As these thoughts kept circling in his mind, both good and bad ideas rose up again and again. Another thought whispered inside him, asterisk, no matter what, right now you are his husband. And if someday the truth comes out, you can divorce him and then marry him again in your real identity, asterisk. Thinking this way, he felt a little more relaxed and went back to his work. Meanwhile, Wing too. Back when he used to work part-time as a waiter, he had already gotten married. Now he thought, asterisk, why not try giving an interview? If luck favors me, maybe I can get a job in a good company. Whatever work I get, I can manage it, asterisk. So, he went to the office of Lan Hires, a branch under the main Lan business group, to apply. He completed the entire interview procedure, submitted everything, and then returned home. After coming back, he cooked food and waited for his husband to arrive. When Lan Zhan came home, he told him, I applied for a new job today. Lan Zhan paused in the middle of eating and asked, where did you apply? Wing replied honestly, at the Lions Company. Whatever position they give me, I'll accept it. I just applied there to see what happens. Saying this, he looked at Lan Zhan, waiting for his reaction. Both of them ate together because Wing never hid anything from Lan Zhan. And Lan Zhan, too, never lied to Wing. The only secret he kept was his true identity. Apart from that, he told Wing everything, where he had gone, which meetings he had attended, and what he had done. The only thing he hid was that he was going on behalf of the Lan family. Instead, he would say, I'm a corporate worker, so I need to attend different places. In this way, he shared everything else with Wing. After dinner, both of them enjoyed their meal happily, and later that night they began their usual daily routine. Their life together was moving along smoothly. A week passed like this. Finally, the day arrived when Wing was supposed to receive an answer about his job application. When Lan Zhan had first learned that Wing had applied to his company, he immediately told his personal assistant, Xianchen, send me the details of all the new intern applications. And when he went through them, he discovered. Yes, he saw that even his own husband had applied. So, he said firmly, I don't care whether you recruit anyone else or not, but his hiring must be confirmed. His PA immediately replied, yes, boss. It will be done. With that, the call ended. Meanwhile, Wing was on his way back to the bar where he still worked. Suddenly, a notification popped up on his phone. He had been selected for the intern job. Wing was overjoyed. Asterisk, even if it's just per day, at least 2,000 yuan will come in. That's definitely more than what I earn at the bar. Asterisk, thinking this, he felt very happy. After finishing his bar shift, he went shopping for vegetables, meat, and other things for dinner. He wanted to cook something nice and share the good news with his husband. When Lon Jon arrived home, he noticed Wing walking slowly, holding his back, looking uncomfortable. Immediately, Lon Jon rushed to him and said, Lon Ja, what happened to you? Why are you moving like this? What's wrong? What happened? Let's go to the doctor, Wing said worriedly. Holding Wing's hands, Lon Jon replied, No, I'm fine. You just help me sit here. He dragged a chair closer, sat down slowly, and said, Go, quickly bring some hot water. Wing rushed to the kitchen, heated water, and brought it back. Now bring a knife, Lon Jon added. Wing, confused, still brought a candle and a knife as asked. Then Lon Jon said quietly, I've been shot. Take it out. Wing froze. Panic flooded his body, his hands and feet turned ice cold. Stammering, he said, what? As shot? You've been shot? Let's go to the doctor. Something will happen to you. What will I do then? Please don't die, okay? If something happens to you, I'll die too. I love you so much. I can't live without you. Please don't die. Don't die. Lon Jon's eyes began to close slowly. Even though he had been shot, he was still pushing himself from within, trying to stay conscious. Lon Jon kept whispering to himself, No, you have to stay alive. Stay conscious. He was pushing himself to remain awake. Then he said firmly, Quick, Wing. Wing's hands had gone completely cold. Trembling, he said, I don't know what to do. Lon Jon grabbed his hands and said, You want me to live, right? Then do it. Please do it. With shaking hands, Wing lit the candle and heated the knife. He couldn't even look properly, but slowly he brought the knife toward Lon Jon's back. By mistake, it touched the wrong spot and Lon Jon let out a scream. Wing panicked, Sorry. I can't do this. Holding his hands tightly, Lon Jon said in a weak voice, It's okay. I know you can do it, Wing. Please do it. Turning his head away, Lon Jon himself guided the knife, pushing it inside just enough to force the bullet out of his wound. When it was finally done, Lon Jon said weakly, It's over. Now bandage me. Wing, on the other hand, felt nauseous after seeing so much blood. He vomited twice in between, but slowly and carefully he cleaned all the bloodstains and the wound. Following Lon Jon's instructions step by step, he dressed and tied the bandage around him. Then he brought another shirt, helped him put it on, and kept him seated on the chair. Lon Jon then said, I'm writing down what medicines I need. Go quickly and bring them. Wing took the note and ran out to buy the medicines. He returned and gave them to Lon Jon, who took them. After taking the medicines, Lon Jon said, Take me to the bed. I need to sleep. Wing asked softly, What? You won't eat anything? Lon Jon gave a faint smile and said, Have you ever seen anyone eat right after an operation? No, right? Wing nodded innocently. Then he gently laid Lon Jon down on the bed and tucked him in with the blanket. Now, even Wing's own heart wasn't at peace. It was time for dinner, but Wing had lost his appetite. Everything he had cooked, he carefully put into the fridge. After that, he locked the house properly from inside because he knew that every now and then, someone would come asking for money. Not because of Lon Jon directly, but because Wing had married into the U Group's heir, people often came to the house demanding money, claiming different reasons. Wing would always refuse and send them away. That's why he made sure every door and window was shut tightly. Then he came back to the room. Seeing Lon Jon sleeping so peacefully, Wing took his hand gently into his own and sat down beside the bed. Tears welled up in his eyes as he whispered in his heart, Please don't die. Don't leave me. My dad is already in a vegetative state. My mom is no longer in this world. My stepmother hates me so much, and even my brother, my own brother, is in America and doesn't even. Wing broke down quietly, holding Lon Jon's hand as if it was the only anchor keeping him alive. He stayed normal in front of him and said, No, nothing is wrong with me. But why were you sleeping downstairs? What if you had caught a cold? Then I would have to take care of you. No. I mean, not have to, but I want to take care of you. Wing pouted and replied, I was just a little scared, that's all. Lon Jon smiled and said softly, there's nothing to be afraid of. Look, I'm completely fine. Come closer. It was still only 3 in the morning. Pointing to the bullet wound on his left side, he said, put your hand here. Wing placed his hands there, and Lon Jon rested his head on them. Now sleep, he whispered. Both of them cuddled together like that and drifted off to sleep again. By the time they woke up, it was already 9 in the morning. Wing suddenly jumped up, shouting, oh no. Lon Jon calmly asked, what happened? Wing panicked, today I was supposed to go to the office. Look, I completely forgot to tell you last night. And now on the very first day, I'm already late. Wing rushed, saying, I have to go. Lon Jon reassured him, it's okay, you go. No one will say anything to you. Still, he quickly pointed to the food left from last night and said, at least eat something. Just heat it up and have it before you leave. Thank you so much for listening to this beautiful story. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. We'll meet again in the next episode of this series. There will be a total of 5 episodes in this story, so stay tuned till the end. See you in the next one.